For the longest time, movies have been trying their best to captivate us. But as the viewer, if you are knowledgeable about any type of specific profession, you definitely found yourself saying, "Hold up, that's not how that works." Hi, I'm Get Level. I love to yap in general, but also about movies. And today, 3 things come to mind. 1, when you have a lot of experience in a profession, and movies and TV shows decide to represent it without anyone seemingly knowing how it works. Second thing is the compromise, the little things that everyone knows aren't realistic, but we let it slide because of that Hollywood magic. It serves a purpose, it makes the premise way more interesting. And third, things that we're all familiar with, everyone. But for some reason, movies just can't get it right. Stick around to find out. I don't even want to imagine how hackers feel when they see movies like this where people are hacking into the mainframe and there's like a 3D visualization of what's going on. Like there's a UI for everything. When in real life, most of the hacking is mostly social engineering and just phishing attempts.
It's public firewall.
We'll isolate the node and dump them on the other side of the router.
I'm trying. It's moving too fast.
Oh, this is not good.
Like, that was a real scene. Like they put that and that was a real thing that they put in the show. I've seen law enforcement complain about TV shows like SWAT, complaining that they seem to be completely incompetent when it comes to basic movement like clearing rooms. And I don't want to incorporate movies that are so far-fetched that, of course, the dialogue is going to be unrealistic. But even if the movie is fiction, most of the dialogue feels grounded until we get to that specific part where someone says something and you're like, no, that doesn't work like that at all. I don't even know which profession should be the most pissed off watching this group of people show up to an unknown planet and no PPE and just start touching stuff. I just thought of something in that subject. Do robbers watch Don't Breathe and think to themselves, that's not how you do it? I know for a fact that mathematicians or just gamblers watched the movie 21 and were really pissed. I was also pissed. I'm not really a gambler. I'm definitely not a mathematician. But turns out, I know how to count cards in blackjack and I actually learned because of that movie. And of course, the movie doesn't want to teach you how to count cards, so it makes it seem like a bunch of geniuses get together to count cards and they go through rigorous training to do so. Now that I'm watching the trailer, I realize just how dumb this movie is. It was so cool though. It was so cool when it came out. I mean, it was so cool that it made me want to count cards. I haven't seen it in a long time. So yeah, the movie makes you think that you need to be this insane genius in order to be able to count cards. Come to find out, counting cards is insanely easy. You just have to do +1 and -1 at a time to basically get an average of high or low probability. If you're a magician and you're watching this, let me know how you feel watching movies like Now You See Me and Now You See Me Too. Because some of the stuff is like clearly impossible, even like as a trick. Like, look at that. Obviously, there's a lot of CGI involved and all that stuff, but they're basically wizards. Those movies are beyond science fiction. Now I'm asking, because personally, movies like Now You See Me or any movie that has to do with like con artists, you can let them get away with everything. This is supposed to be the second point of my video, but like, let them get away with it, okay? I think it's cool. I think outplaying people and you don't really understand how, I think it's fine. And if you're still watching, how does it compare to movies like The Prestige, where it seems to be pretty grounded, but again, I'm not a magician, so I don't know. I know, I'm not spoiling the ending. Or even movies like The Illusionist. It's funny because I'm mentioning movies that I've seen when I was like a kid, and I'm just looking at them right now. I'm like, yeah, no, clearly this is not realistic at all. Yeah, never mind. I'm sorry, magicians. There's no way you watch this and you were like, yeah, that's real.
For me, impossible.
Great movie though. Hey, are we putting Face Off in the category of if we don't care? I think we are. I think we're gonna say that we don't care about like the science. If you're a surgeon, tell me in the comments right now, how do you feel watching a movie like Face Off? I think it helps the premise, so maybe not the best example, but medical shows are probably awful to watch if you work in that field. Now, one movie I will not fail to mention because it kind of inspired this video in the first place is The Visit. The Visit is a found footage type of movie where a bunch of kids that are constantly filming themselves go to their grandparents' house while their mom goes on a cruise. And there's absolutely a lot that I hate about this movie. But as a photographer, the whole premise of, hey, we are filming with a DSLR right now is just like not it for me. There are so many moments where it felt like the director had no idea how to use a DSLR. But again, very specific to that profession. But for example, they said that the camera that the little girl is filming with was found in like a a shed or in the basement of the grandma or something like that. And then the tripod that they're using, they're supposed to be poor, by the way. The tripod that they're using is a Manfrotto tripod, like a $650 tripod. So what's going on? And there's a part of the movie where she goes, "Are you zooming in right now?" It's a DSLR with a zoom lens. If he was zooming, you would see him hold the lens. Or maybe I'm just mad because that is the single plastic and aluminum tripod that I bought for my whole photography career. That spans for more than 10 years. Well, I was saying a zoom lens on a DSLR looks like this, right? This is a kit lens. If you want to zoom, the only way to actually do it is by grabbing the lens and zooming. So if someone is zooming, you'll see them do that. That's how you zoom. You've seen people hold cameras and then do this, right? They're either pulling focus or zooming. Look. What is that? Is that a 5D Mark III or something? Look at the tripod. Look at the tripod. Poor people in a poor person's attic. And look at the tripod head. That alone is at least $100. I haven't checked prices in a while, but a Manfrotto tripod plus the soft pan head, I think it's called. Wait, that's a soft tilt and pan and a 5D Mark whatever. That's a couple $1,000s. Other than the fact that the whole movie, you can clearly see that they're not filming with that. Like, that's not the image quality of a DSLR. Like, we can tell. That's not the dynamic range of a DSLR. Anyways, before I rant any further about this movie, we're actually gonna come back to it a little bit later because it has to do with my major problem with movies. If you're not a photographer or a videographer that works with DSLRs, this probably won't bother you. In fact, a lot of people like this movie. I can't stand it, but a lot of people liked it, so more power to you. So the second point I wanted to make had to do with compromise. When there is a whole thing that doesn't seem to be real, but it fuels the premise and it makes everything more interesting. Of course, that is not necessarily part of a tiny piece of dialogue or anything. That's the whole point. I don't know if Truman Show is the best example for that because Truman as a person is so wacky that it could be explained that, oh yeah, like that's the result of being in this weird fake world. But also there are moments where people just go into a commercial break in front of him and it's like, oh, okay, that is more than just weird. You would ask a lot of questions. Again, not sure if it's a good example because, well, eventually he breaks out of it, right? He does end up asking enough questions. Look at that Matrix reference. And you're gonna quickly see that I struggled to find good examples of this because I know a lot of you are gonna disagree that, oh, this is unrealistic, because those unrealistic premises are so good that we just want to believe. We don't even find them unrealistic. It's just so cool. Take a movie like Speed, for example. Yeah, of course, we can put a bomb and it would be difficult to evacuate people and blah, blah, blah. And without going into pure, fantasy fiction, I think those are some of the best movies. It's like, oh, it's a wacky premise, but it makes for such good cinema. It makes it very theatrical. It makes it stylized. It makes it badass. And we love it. And while we're watching it, we feel like we're watching something realistic. I think in the real world, they would probably just let the bus explode. They would probably just block it and then it would explode and then they would, do a press conference and say, oh, sorry. And that's it. The most unrealistic part of movies like this is how the world stops and the whole police force comes to a halt and really tries to solve the problem. Oh, I think I have a good example of that. 2002 Phone Booth. The movie actually does a pretty good job of establishing why everything is happening. Some stuff is exaggerated, of course, people's reactions and the patience of the cops mostly. Man, Forrest Whitaker in that movie, so good. So good. See what I mean? They mobilized the entire police force and they're like, hey, we have all day. We have nothing else to do. We will solve this. We will figure it out together. So yeah, in this case, the most unrealistic thing is how people react to that, unusual situation. It's not that, oh, it cannot happen. Of course, like an extremely precise sniper who's also on the phone with you and yeah, you get what I'm saying. Another example, Ryan Reynolds' Buried, where he is buried. The whole movie takes place inside of a coffin, 6 feet underground, and it's a pretty good movie. I'm not gonna lie. Personally, I really enjoyed it. A lot of people don't like it. He has a mobile phone. It's a Motorola or a BlackBerry, I don't know. And again, wacky premise. We have light down there the whole time. He's talking to all sorts of people and all of that. It's a great, like, in my opinion, it's a great movie. All right, let me give you an example that's not gonna get you mad. The Crank series. Imagine Speed, but instead of the bomb being in a bus, it's inside of Jason Statham's heart. if his adrenaline or if his heart rate goes down, he explodes or he dies, he gets a heart attack or something. So the whole movie he has to do stuff to keep his heart rate up. Listen, are those movies dumb? Absolutely. Is the premise realistic in any way, shape, or form? No. Is it like one of the most entertaining movies ever made? Yes. Do we love it? Yes. Lots of unnecessary scenes, but still, very good movie when it comes to action slops from the 2000s. So those were unrealistic premises in the first place that basically set you up for movies that are gonna be really cool and you don't mind. You're not like, that would never happen. That would never happen. You're like, yeah, hell yeah. You know what? Yes, I'm all for it. But that's even in the little details. Sometimes you'll see people do research and they use some sort of fake version of Google or whatever. It might grab your attention for a little bit, but ultimately we don't mind it. It doesn't necessarily pull us from the movie, as long as it stays similar to what we know in real life. We see a lot of product placement. Cars, for example, when they're doing product placement for cars, they will be undamaged no matter what's happening. And yes, I am slowly realizing just how many movies from like the early 2000s I have in mind for those examples. Oh God, that looks awful. Is that the right movie even? It is. Anyways, there's a moment where there's a car in this movie and it goes through a bus. Like it takes a ramp, goes through the bus and has zero damage, not a scratch. And I was like, okay, I know who paid for the movie. I know who's sponsoring y'all. What is this shot, man? Oh, there it is. Even in the trailer, they're shilling it. Oh, please show me the bus shot. They showed it. I can't believe they showed it. They actually showed it. So after that scene, the car goes down and then, yeah, that's the only damage it gets. But like the very end, it's like, oh, I brought your car back. Doomsday 2008. Absolute very bad movie, but also very good. You will not be bored. Okay, that brings us to my third point. Everyday things that everyone knows how they work. And the biggest culprit, the biggest issue I have is how people represent phones in movies. Or computers in movies. We all use phones. We all know how phones work. I don't mind if, Apple didn't co-sign the movie for you to show their iOS and all their apps. I don't care if Android didn't co-sign and you can't show this and you can't show that, but show us something similar. Let me go back to the visit. Look at that. Look at that. This is supposed to be a Skype call. This is supposed to be a Skype call. What is the mom holding? In your opinion, what is the mom holding? What device has high dynamic range, pretty much 4K quality? When did this come out? That was in 2015. I can't. I'm putting it in slow-mo. Watch this. Look at this quality. 2015. What is she holding? What's going on? Mind you, I watched the movie, right? Her sound on a cruise ship, impeccable, clean. In fact, she's basically whispering to them at some point. She's talking like so low. You're like, the sea is behind you. You're on a cruise ship. There's all sorts of, you should be yelling at them. Also, whatever device you're holding like this, you're not hearing anything out of it. You cannot hear those children who are also whispering. Like, I appreciate you. I appreciate you for showing Skype, for showing the logo and everything, right? Making it realistic. I believe there's I don't remember, I haven't seen the movie in a while, but I believe there's the actual Skype sound. I like when movies do stuff like that, right? But if you're gonna do a Skype call, do a Skype call. Actually do a Skype call to at least see what it looks like when you're doing a Skype call, especially in those conditions, right? I don't know if she's supposed to be holding a laptop or a phone with Skype on it. Probably a Windows phone.
Nothing wrong with Nana and Papa.
They're just old. Bear with it for a couple of days.
You heard that sound? You heard how she sounded? You know what? Let me find the whole scene. If the video skips at this point, that means I got a copyright strike for this.
Yeah?
Mom, you need to come and get us right now.
What?
Again, widescreen, high dynamic range, amazing quality.
Get in the car and come right now.
Do you know how long that would take by car, Rebecca?
Minimal reverb, even though she's standing far away from the camera.
Becca, you're scaring me. My heart is in my throat.
Look at that. Look at the quality. We're
You've
getting
been staying with
bokeh.
those people the whole time?
We're getting bokeh. First of all, autofocus on point in 2015. Look at this quality.
So weird, I can't see you.
Audio in video. What is going on?
Tyler, quiet.
And it's so awkward because they're making her pretend to hold their huge cinema camera. So she has both her arms kind of wide in front of her. Perfectly audible, minimal background noise. And the kids are not even yelling either.
You're old, Tyler.
Anyways, that was my little rant for Skype in The Visit. I feel like I need to praise a movie for doing Skype right, and it's like every other movie. Searching is the movie that comes to mind when it comes to representing any type of UI for anything. Skype, Mac OS, Windows XP, everything, the noise, the animations, and like it's super high quality, so I'm guessing they probably had to remake them from scratch. And wow, everything is authentic. It doesn't, like, it shows you Google, it shows you YouTube, it shows you everything. And they've been, like, you know, they're not filmed. You can see this is not like a 4K. Well, this one might be a 4K camera. Anyways, in general, they do their best to keep it as authentic as possible. And I cannot praise this enough. I actually wanted to make a bigger list of movies to praise for their fidelity when it comes to that kind of stuff. But, you know, you guys prefer when you watch YouTube videos that are negative. Look at that. Look at that. CCTV footage is not 4K. M. Night Shyamalan, if you're watching this. Selfies are actually taken with phones of the time. Look at that. You see that how the background is completely blown. It's completely white. That's a low dynamic range. That's a phone. You don't have a ton of details. That's a phone. Oh, look at that. Just because he's close to the camera doesn't mean like the background is going to have this beautiful bokeh because there's no autofocus. He's on an old Mac laptop. Even the quality, they're zooming in a picture and you see like the old school, especially the artificial sharpening that a lot of devices do. Mostly Android, I feel like. Look at that. He's filming from a crappy camera and you see that it's a crappy... Anyways, let me go back to being negative so I can get all the views. So this is from the movie Until Dawn, and this is supposed to be recorded on a phone. They're watching footage of their dead friend, I think, and or missing friend at least. And this is supposed to be recorded on a phone. Come on, man. Come on now. And it's like, we own phones. We know what phone footage looks like. Why wouldn't you want your movie to have authentic phone footage? You don't need to be a photographer or a professional at anything to be like, this was not shot on an iPhone. This was not shot on an Android. Which phone has this quality? And then they have to make the actor just stand there awkwardly pretending to touch their $20,000 Ari Alexa camera or their Red Dragon Super 8K, 12K, 18K camera. Like, you don't have to just film with a phone. If someone has the answer to this, you probably do. Please let me know in the comments. Like, I understand that the movie needs to be distributed at a certain standard. It needs to be, you know, 8K and a certain bit rate and all that stuff. But if you have a scene in it where people are watching like authentic footage from another device, why wouldn't you want to make it look real? Because with The Visit, I was like, M. Night Shyamalan never had a Canon 5D Mark II. He doesn't know how to use a DSLR. He's a big shot Hollywood guy. He only filmed with cinema cameras, with cinema lens. Maybe that explains why there's so much inconsistencies, right? But every time I see a movie where they're holding a phone and it's 8K and they decide to film the phone footage with their cinema camera, I'm like, why? What's the point? They want to film a computer and it's all like they just ask a graphic designer or a motion designer to just replicate whatever should be showing on screen. At least make it look real. It doesn't have to be Skype. It doesn't have to be a brand name or anything, but make the experience of what we go through every day feel like what we go through every day. We know this. We know phones. Bro, that was probably VFX. Like, they probably had to ask a poor VFX guy or girl to track the footage onto the phone. Just so we're clear, I really enjoyed Until Dawn. It didn't ruin the movie for me or anything like that. I really like that movie. Now, a movie I did not enjoy at all is The Monkey. You see he's sitting on this little analog space here. He's holding like an old school mic in front of a bunch of analog monitors. Why that choice? I don't know, just for style. He's supposed to be in a secluded area, I guess. And there it is. This is what pissed me off. Bro, why do you have 8 monitors for pretty much one single camera? Or is it maybe 2 camera? We can say that this one is a digital zoom, or it's a second camera that zooms in a little bit more. But why? You have to plug, it's an analog thing. You have to plug them. They have to be powered. God knows they burn a lot of energy. Why? What's the point? This is not cool. This is just silly. To be fair, the whole movie, let me chill. I did not like this movie, okay? I don't think I need to elaborate. The movie doesn't have much going on for it, to be fair. In my opinion, of course, like as in a lot of things don't make any sense. I really loved the beginning though. The first like 20 to 30 minutes of this movie were actually pretty decent and got me really intrigued. Anyways, this is not a review of The Monkey. This is a why moment. Why are you doing this? What's the point? Why would you have the exact same image? You probably need like a splitter to even make this possible, to plug the feed into 8 different TVs or monitors. But yeah, that's the point. That's the, oh, this is so cool. Oh my God, analog stuff. Remember? Those are probably all digitally added anyways. You could have just make up a fake angle, like show me like the woods, show me the back of a building. Make it functional, man. You guys are not gonna like me for this one. This time I am judging 28 years later. Okay, this is the trailer for Bone Temple, but it has to do with the bones. They even show the bones in this trailer? Do they not show the bones in the Bone Temple? Are you kidding me? I guess they do a little bit. Interesting, actually. It seems like they recolored the skulls here, because my whole rant has to do with exactly that. But in the movie, this guy collects skulls. And he makes little sculptures with them. By little, I mean huge. There you go. There you go. So, I don't know if this is public knowledge. I feel like it should be. I feel like it should be public knowledge that in order to get bones to look this white, it is a whole process. So not only does he get squeaky clean, super white skulls, enough to make like sculptures like that, including just all sorts of bones. Okay, let me give you a quick warning. We're gonna watch a YouTube short from Insider on how to actually clean bones. So trigger warning, we're about to show real human skulls now. It's important, it's important.
Dead is a rare Dia de los Muertos tradition in Mexico. Many say the village of Pomuch.
So right off the bat, you see the state of a human skull that is preserved and is being cleaned and all that. You see what that looks like, right? It's not super clean and super white like it wasn't made of plastic or bought at a Halloween store.
Is one of the only places in the whole country that still does it. They believe.
You see how a regular, I don't know if it's a leg bone or whatever, you see the color?
Lives in the afterlife. It's also a way to make some extra cash. Each October, he's hired to take hundreds of corpses out of their tombs for their annual cleaning.
Damn, hundreds? You see the color of bones after a while?
Skull always goes on top.
Look at that. But that's after cleaning. You see that? I don't want to be put on a list for looking up how to whiten bones. I'm sure you have to boil them. Okay, it's time. Animal. This is from the Fritz 423. So hydrogen. So just based on the ingredients that you would need to make the quantity that he has in that movie, bubbling is supposed to mean it's working. This is sped up, by the way. Don't chill it or you see that? Let it sit for a week and then check it. For a week. And look at that. Does it seem like plastic white to you? It's not. After a week, it's not. It's whiter after it dries. Okay. Okay, cool. Not quite white enough yet. That's what I mean. That's what I'm saying. Fresh solution and let it sit another week. Anyways, all that to say, you know, if to play devil's advocate, you might say that, oh, well, we don't know how long he's been. We kind of have an idea. It's been a couple of years and stuff. But either way, like the sculptures that we see, considering how he's sourcing them, that's like 200 years of work and unlimited hydrogen peroxide during an apocalypse. And he's alone, by the way, in a remote location. There's no supermarkets or whatever. I guess there was a gas station at some point, but that's not it. That's not it. Because you might be thinking, oh, I'm exaggerating and blah, blah, blah. I was already, as soon as he showed like this weird temple thing, I was already like, I don't even think you can get bones to be that white. Quick editor's note. After recording this video, my friend Viking Trash was live on Twitch and she actually collects and bleaches bones. So I decided to ask for her opinion.
I mean, what's weird about them is that there's no I don't know what the context is of the image, but bone... I could show you actually. I could show you with my very own bones. So you can see this has been laying this way in the sun, so it's white. And then this is its natural color because it's been laying face up in the sun. So this is sun bleached and this isn't. But you see how it's like green, and like any kind of air, humidity, nature sort of scenario, green shit will grow on it. right? They're not gonna be clean. They're not gonna be evenly bleached, and they're not gonna be clean, I think. This antler is from northern Norway, where there's not a whole lot of air humidity. So you can imagine like in the UK where it's very humid, I can imagine things getting even greener. Often if you're along the coast and stuff, or just anywhere where there's where it's pretty humid, it's gonna have that green on it. They should at least have had like a little bit of that yellow tint and stuff, but I understand that this is just like CGI special effects shit. But you understand what I mean, like it's not gonna be that clean. The skulls that I have, I boiled them. That's why they're that clean. I've literally boiled them for a very long time to have it like let go any sort of soft tissue or organic material, right? But I thought bone also will like kind of oxidize, right, and go kind of yellow and shit in the air. It's weird that a movie based on so much gore wouldn't, I don't know. But sun bleaching bone definitely much quicker than you'd imagine. It doesn't take as long as you think. You can make like an edit and say you've talked to a bone expert who even showed you.
So in her opinion, it would probably take faster than I imagined, but there's no way it would look that clean and that pasty white. I happen to have personally seen a lot of human skulls in my life, but most of them were buried under the catacombs, so not really exposed to the sun. And the other ones were collected and preserved indoors. I'm gonna spoil, huge spoiler here, okay? No, I'm gonna keep it vague. Someone dies. So it was already shady, right? Someone dies in the movie and we see him collect the skull, like immediately, right? The person dies, he collects the skull. We see him put it in some sort of machine, well, not a machine, but like he puts him in a boiling thing, which you can guess it's maybe hydrogen peroxide or maybe bleach, maybe whatever. And then 3 minutes later, he grabs it and it's the perfectly white skull. And then he just places it on. This is such an important part of your movie that the next movie is called The Bone Temple. No one told you that, hey, maybe watch a YouTube video just like I did. And I do understand that the studio was probably like, hey, you can't make it too realistic because it would be too morbid, right? You can't make it real. Don't make a movie about something that you can't show. Why would the movie be all about this thing that a studio doesn't accept? Especially 2 movies now. To also clarify, I did not enjoy 28 Years Later. I'm sorry. I absolutely loved the first movie. Did not like this one at all. I was very bored. I think it's competent, beautifully shot. Don't get me started on the locations. They were amazing, immaculate, beautiful, gorgeous looking movie in general. But as a zombie movie itself, I know I'm gonna piss off so many people. It was ridiculous. I can't take it seriously at all. Everything was so ridiculous and over the top for no real reason, like for no extra depth into a story. And then Teletubbies, like, what are we doing, man? What are we doing? That being said, if I was like 12, 13, I would have loved it. I would have been like, whoa, this movie is so deep. Like, this is my favorite movie. Oh, I can't wait to watch the rest. Anyways, I had some more examples listed, but I yapped enough. Do you have any more examples of things that were so unrealistic to you because of your profession or just in general that it annoyed you to the point of, you know, not necessarily enjoying the movie because of it? Let me know in the comment section below. If there's another thing that you feel like movies are doing that you don't like and you want me to rant about, let me know also. But I've been Gal Level. Make sure you subscribe. We're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers soon, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.